Thank you. Give it up one more time. I'd like to invite Daniel, Zack, Joe, and Cherie up to the stage.
Hi. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
So our plan was...
Cherie, would you like to join us? Perfect.
Everyone give it up for Cherie's... we'll answer the first question. She's Zack's mom in real life. And she's amazing. She didn't originally want to be in the film. She still doesn't want to be in the film. But she knew that her being in it would make it better. So she's here with us tonight.
He's a liar. He promised me I wouldn't be in it. And he said, just film it. We won't use it, obviously. And then he went and he put extra pounds on me and my face. I don't know how he did that. And
we also have campaign stickers. If anyone wants to support him, he might run again. We'll see, but just see us after, and we'll hand them out.
So we're so proud to be the Upper West Side premiere and in District 6 alone. Just tell us, how did this film come about? And you're missing the Dora, Dora. Can you sing it for us? The Weiner, 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 Weiner. Vote for Weiner. So I'll sing along with
There's
it.
Gail Brewer's Swiper the Fox.
So what was the origin of this movie? How did any of this come about?
I was over at Joe's, and we were both having kind of a down day. I had been thinking about a script where a local politician or bureaucrat got caught up in a scandal. And I was telling Joe about it. We were toggling between rallies 2019 and wrestling. Joe said how so much of the pageantry was similar to wrestling, the political pageantry. And we got into the performance of it and then had the idea, whoa, what if I ran in real life, staged a scandal, and stood by it and saw if that could benefit us electorally, which I think it did. So that was a big part of the idea.
We knew we'd be on late night TV, and we genuinely believed we would win in a landslide, which didn't happen.
That part, yeah.
Cherie, how did you get sucked into this?
well, it was taking place in Zachary's apartment where I happen to live. And I didn't want them to do it. I desperately didn't want them to do it. I thought that it would make him a target for all kinds of people, especially anti-Semites, which I'm always on the lookout for. And I begged not to have anything to do with it because it was such a stupid idea, I thought. And he's a writer. He's a film writer, a screenwriter, and they lost their minds. They really became like candidates. They felt like, okay, so this is what we have to do for the city now, and what are we going to do about the rats? And shut up, just write a screenplay. Why are you doing a campaign? But then Daniel filmed it in such a way that some people like it.
And
it was
I will say that on Twitter, some alt-right accounts tweeted about it, and there were responses, leave him alone. Come on. It's his private thing.
Yeah, you could search his Twitter. It was @electweiner, and they left the Twitter up, and his statement is there. I think he got like 70,000 likes at the peak.
80,000.
Yeah, it's all statements written by...
80.
Oh, 80. I think but that Twitter deleted bots, so I think it went down a little bit.
No bots, never bots.
Oh, no bots.
So you got support from the right and the left, like a true politician.
Yeah. And we should also say that Cherie was supportive towards the end a little bit, where what happened in the film happened in real life, where the tape was leaked, possibly by Joe, and we thought it would just get traction because, it's a Weiner, Democrat, sex tape, like that's the holy trinity for the New York Post, but they didn't run with it initially, and we were so depressed, and Zack was laying in bed like, we just spent a year documenting failures at getting votes, and now just a few people have this weird thing. And then Cherie came in, and she said, you have to do full frontal. Like, that's what it'll take. And Zack's like, well, Mom, I don't know if...
I said that?
Yeah, you said that. And then
Disgusting.
So the film does a great job of blending reality and fiction. So how much of it was really improvised versus scripted? When you're going out into the world... You can't
Nothing was
control
scripted.
what the people say. So inside the house, nothing is scripted.
Well, we staged things. So we had ideas for settings and kind of stakes. Daniel would set up like the poll results, I would say, would be one of the more organized shoot days.
Yeah, they came up with a good term where we can't call it a documentary because it's not all real, and it can't be a mockumentary because it's not fake. He was on the ballot. So they've been calling it a reality movie, where it's like reality TV where it's all orchestrated events, but it happens in real life. So we would orchestrate things like, the big Abocho's Closet event, or them sitting around the table, like Zack would get 1% in the poll, and we'd say, oh, this is hilarious, you guys have to discuss it. And then we'd gather all the actors, and they would just talk. And
There was a lot of good stuff cut.
a lot of good stuff.
A lot of good stuff.
Cherie
lot of
also helped
fighting
us with the editing of the film throughout.
There was a lot of fighting. A lot of fighting.
Oh, yeah.
So how many people actually knew about the campaign and that it was real or fake? And how did the actors live their lives,
Well, Aaron was a drug dealer.
No.
So Zack,
very funny
you
joke.
walked out.
He wasn't. That was
Were
really-
you living as Zack Weiner, the politician, or Zack Weiner, the actor, the writer?
I was the politician. I mean, I was running, and not a lot of people knew about the ultimate intention of the scandal and the comedy, but I did take a lot of what we were talking about pretty seriously. I wish we were able to tell more people about the prank aspect because it took a while, obviously, to come out. So I had a few years there where people didn't believe me that there was going to be a movie. So it's a scandal guy at engagement parties and shul or whatever. So that was a little tough.
So what would you say to them?
At first, I would just try to play along, and then eventually I kind of buckled and be like, there's a movie coming out, there's a project, and be like, sure, yeah. Don't worry about it. It's not that bad.
Joe, was it the same for you? Would you tell friends? Were you open about the movie, or?
No, we were just like Cherie was saying, we were really obsessed with the idea of, we took it seriously. We formed policy proposals, and I think everybody kind of knew it was kind of silly, because maybe they wouldn't expect that from me or Zack or to be involved in local politics. But it was during the pandemic too. The pandemic had just kind of ended, when we were doing the movie, and running the campaign. So a lot of people were kind of like, oh, okay, I guess that's just where their lives have, everybody's life was changing. So I think people, they did buy it because it was real. I don't know. It's very confusing still to me. But I think I know we really took it very seriously, the issues in the neighborhood, and maybe there'll be a future with politics still ahead. I don't know.
There's an opening for mayor,
Yeah.
possibly. And they had a line throughout where they'd say, it's funny, but it's not a joke, which was most of the approach. And also, Miguel, who plays Zack's doorman a block away, is in the audience. He had a brief cameo during the montage. What did you think it was real or fake? What was your...
I knew it was real because I got to saw it. While it was happening. I knew it was real.
But it wasn't real.
I knew it was for the movie, but he actually ran.
Oh, yes. But the dominatrix stuff.
Oh no, yeah.
It's very confusing. It's all.
The lawyer, Dan, the Alan, how much of that did you plan out? Can you plan that out? No?
With Dan.
I don't know. Joe ran the campaign, so he was responsible for finding us an election lawyer. And first he tried Rudy Giuliani's lawyer. But then what happened?
He was very pricey. And thankfully, Dan Bright told me, he said Dan Bright was like, he is not funny at all. So we made the right decision, I think.
You did. You did.
We went to Dan's, and originally, we assumed this isn't going to be that interesting. It's going to be this like dry conversation about how to get on the ballot. And then Dan turned to Daniel, and he was like, "You're going to want to turn that on. You're going to want to keep it rolling." And then he was just like, boom, 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 just like it was in the movie. That hypercut was exactly real, and
It was literally 4 hours of him talking. Like literally.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, he spoke for 4 hours.
In that office, that scene?
Yeah.
Yeah, Andy's a great lawyer. He just had a big win, I think, for maritime for union workers. So he there we go. We have some.
Strong, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, he's a great lawyer.
Yeah. Who speaks his mind?
I have just a question before we turn to the audience. Has Gail Brewer seen this? Have any of the other candidates seen this?
So far. Oh,
What are
wait,
the
who's that?
reactions?
Is someone here from Gail's campaign? Oh no. So we had a screening downtown, and Maria D'Angelo and Sarah Lind came, who he ran against. They loved it, and now they might even form a coalition. Joe and we invited Gail because we want her to see it, because we think the film is positive and supports local politics, and also the montage of her, which we think is funny, is everyone just says nice things about her, put to ominous music. Like, oh, it says everybody loves Gail. She's been doing this for so many years. She really knows what she's doing. Just to set up this like impossible person for him to beat.
But I do genuinely hate her campaign slogan.
Again,
Come on.
And I ran into Maria, what's her name?
Danzilla.
Danzilla outside of Fairway when the scandal came out. And
Oh, I didn't even know. All right.
you did,
Maybe I did. I forgot. All right, continue.
okay. So she said to me, oh, it's terrible, but I think, maybe Zachary would have a future with me and my campaign. So I said, that is incredible of you. You were suggesting to join Zachary's campaign and help him even after this? And she kept on trying to explain to me, no, that's not what it is. And I just kept on thanking her for her support. And then when I ran into her at the last screening, she said, wow, you're such a liar. You're such an actress.
do we have any questions from the audience? We have a microphone coming around. We'll start in the front.
Well, now, has this opened up your dating life, especially getting S&M offers, or are you retired your whole passion for that at the moment? Wait. And more importantly, what did you learn from this in terms of filming a political candidate for you, the director?
Sure, you want to go first?
I'd love for you to lead the charge on this.
Well, the shoot was very challenging because it was 101 days, and normally a shoot is 20 days, but we had to shoot the whole campaign. And what you don't see is while you were living in Zach's apartment, I was also living in that apartment with them.
So was Joe.
And Joe, because the campaign was every day. So we shot for a full year, up until the point when we leaked the tape, hoping it would take off. And then thankfully it did. Otherwise, I don't know what the ending would be. But I think the main thing we learned is that politics has a certain facade to it, where even the politicians we like, we know they're saying things to appeal to us, and it feels kind of fake. And I was a little cynical about politics going into it. But then after this, I realized that, yes, some of the things said are fake, but you can use that fugazi to help the people around you. So even though Zach and Joe didn't win, they really had a positive impact on the people around them. So it made me a lot more of a,
Fugazi.
localist, like a fake thing from Wolf of Wall Street.
Fugazi.
It's a woozy.
And
Yeah.
as far as your social life is concerned, has this enhanced it in any way?
Mixed results, I would say.
You should see the Twitter DMs. It gets very colorful.
I don't use, he's running the Twitter, I'm not looking.
I think we had another question up in the back.
You could also shout if you want.
I'd rather not shout. What have you learned about our electoral process? And one thing you didn't really mention in the movie was we have a lot of legislation that deals with sexual behavior. And if you had to think through what your platform would be now, a few years later, would you have any ideas for new legislation or change legislation?
I'm really glad you asked that. I have definitely thought that through. New York City Council has a very limited effect on that. The most they can do at a city level is budgetary priorities. So what I would say is that the funding that's allocated to people in some of those industries could be channeled better through organizations run by those people.
Specifically.
What do you mean specific? Yeah.
What you're doing with
Just specifically, there's sex work organizations that support people with health and legal help and employment and things like that. and that's not always channeled proper. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're. But
More specifically.
I don't know what you. But don't get specific because I'm worried by what your specifics are. I would just say specific to be as specific as possible. I don't think it benefits anyone to persecute people that are being responsible and working for themselves in a healthy way. I don't think it's a good use of city resources, and I think the city budget could do a better job at that.
So,
I don't want NSO, and we're not doing NSO, and I don't know what NSO is. There's no NSO. But yeah, but the city council can't legislate on anything like that, but they can budget it.
Got a question?
We have a question behind you. Oh, we have a microphone with someone.
I don't know why, but the song My Name is Ruined by Gary Newman came up into my head. I don't know why. I think it would be a great campaign song. Can I play it for you?
If you come down after the Q&A, you can play it for them, and we'll discuss after. How about?
When they call me ruined, I know. Da 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 da.
Perfect.
Da 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 da.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll continue that after the Q&A. Okay.
Yeah, we'll
We
do
have
it right
another
after.
question, I think. A few Rose Park. Round of applause.
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. That song would
Okay.
fit perfectly in the film.
Okay, we have another
that
question.
could have played
I
during
think.
the viral montage.
I actually can shout if you need me to.
It's okay.
I'm actually curious to follow up on the question about laws of sexuality. This is more a national issue, but how do you feel about the idea of repealing Sesta Fosta, specifically the way not being able to do things like vet clients as easily can harm sex workers potentially?
You know, I have to say, we've done, I think, 4 screenings, and I would not have guessed that the JCC would have the most sex work questions. Having said that, I think we're all pro.
Well, we were really hyper-local. We didn't get so familiar at a national level. Our whole idea was to try to keep it hyper-local where it's less contentious and there's more practical things to do. And again, I just think there are a lot of really good organizations that help with that sort of thing, like, you know, people that might be victimized or protecting people in that line of work. So that's my policy and what I would suggest. And if I were to have wanted to allocate more funding to that and support, you know, to support people that might be endangered in that. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know what I'm allowed to say, but I can say anything? Yeah. Okay, so the sex workers are in touch with him because he's trying to help them. And I wanted to ask the audience, one of them said, I don't want to have anything to do with you because you're a Zionist.
Oh, well, let's really not delve into this right now. Let's really not delve into this. This is the last thing I want to delve into at the moment.
I do have one last question.
Absolutely.
You can come up to us after. We'll discuss. We all have, I wrote a paper on the Middle East in high school. I think it still stands. So feel free to come up to me. We can discuss, you know, the nuances going on there.
Perfect. I just want to know what's next for Citizen Weiner and what's next for all of you guys.
Well, for Citizen Weiner, it just came out on video on demand. So it could be on, if you go to citizenweiner.com, you can find all the links. It's on Apple TV, Prime Video, I think DVD, but no one has that anymore. So if you want to, I still have Blu-ray. If you want to support it, you could write a Letterboxd review, IMDb review, send someone the link to the site, or just follow Zack on Twitter because he might. Are you going to run again?
Yeah, I'm keeping my options open.
At least we can promote the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, please promote it. Yeah.
CitizenWeiner.com.
Talk about it. Tell people, please tweet.
Amazing.
What's next for you?
I'm going to kill myself.
Well,
I don't know.
I know that Zack and Daniel, we have a film coming out called Bad Shabbos.
Oh, right.
And
Whoa, are people here from Bad Shabbos? I guess not. You just like the title.
yeah.
Oh, nice. That's so nice.
Thank you
And
very
hopefully we'll play that here too, that we wrote it. We already shot it, and that has a different cast, and we wrote it as we were running, and then made it right after.
It actually won the audience award at the Tribeca Film Festival.
So come back for that JCC screening to be announced.
And I can't wait for the Q&A. We'll see if we got the same questions there.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank
This
you very
is
much.
fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.